As we near the end of the 2023 NATO Earth Youth Summit, we will hear from General Philippe Lavigne, Supreme Allied Commander Transformation, one of NATO's 2 strategic commanders and the commanding officer of Allied Command Transformation, not transportation. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Norfolk, Virginia, home to Allied Command Transformation, or ACT. Talking to young people, even as a father of 3, can be daunting. So I want to start by saying that even if I don't look it, I still feel very young. I still play rugby and I see the game developing ahead of me, even if now it moves a lot faster than I do. But the game still inspires and still offers lessons, especially about the importance of teamwork, which is so important in a NATO setting. I also feel especially young this year because we will be celebrating my command's 20th anniversary later this week here in Norfolk, Virginia. Over this long day, you heard from civilian leaders like the NATO Secretary General and from military leaders, as well as President Pavel, whose career covers both worlds. You discuss history, data, bullies, security, and democracy. As we near the end of these youth summits, I want to share with you a few thoughts about NATO and our world today. I qualified as a fighter pilot the same year the wall came down and when NATO had 16 members. This is before your time, of course. But there was much talk then about the end of history. But that's the thing about history, or indeed about all your stories. Things change, and not always for the better. Here we are today, and war is back in Europe on a scale not since the end of World War II. In Ukraine, young women and men of your age, people you might have met in cafes or on your travels through Europe just a couple of years ago are fighting a barbaric assault. Their families and friends are sheltering from missiles aimed at hospitals, theaters and vital infrastructures. What does that say about NATO's role? In simple terms, NATO was founded as and remains a defensive alliance, an organization now with 31 to 32 members whose goal is to provide a credible defense and deterrence so that 1 billion citizens can go about their normal lives, including meeting and discussing issues freely like today. Or to put it even more bluntly, to work together as a group of allies to deter bullies, whatever their aims. As we say in French, un pour tous et tous pour. As a part of the military structure of this great alliance, one of ACT's job is to look out to the future and try to define the threats ahead and help NATO prepare. To ensure that the alliance military instrument of power, on which ultimately its ability to defend and deter depends, is up to the task. Today, our security environment is characterized by more threats coming at us faster and from everywhere. You should think of more as the increased use of advanced, including autonomous weapons, but also the unbelievable amounts of data flooding the battlefield and beyond. Faster as in hypersonic missile or the other weapons which shorten our decision cycles, but also the effects of quantum computing will have on a whole range of vital issues, including encryption. And everywhere. Everywhere because, well, like the movie, Everything, Everywhere and All at Once, it's a good descriptor of what the future battlefield will look like. When on the top of traditional land, air and sea domain, you had space and cyber, you have what the military used to call joint, but on steroid. And everywhere also, because just look at how strangling the flow of grain out of Ukraine causes food shortage and intense suffering a world away. Or every single one of you is already being bombarded with misinformation. The war for hearts and minds is going strong, and deepfake or chatbot generated misinformation will only make it worse. At ACT, we are working on this and more. This is not time or the place to go into technical details, but in a few words, my job is to help NATO's country develop forces and capabilities that are able to cope and win in these new realities. That means forces that can understand better and faster and be stronger together through digital transformation, synchronizing across the traditional and new domain I spoke a moment ago, but also work with other instruments of power, with forces and infrastructure that are resilient. We do all that by working with our sister command, Allied Command Operation in Europe, and with NATO members, including on capability development. And to do so, we also work with civilian society, with industry, with academia, as we are today. We draw our strength from our ability to bring together men and women from all allies and partners, especially in a world where no one has a monopoly on innovation or agility. I mentioned ACT's upcoming birthday earlier. 20 years that offer another example of how fast things can change. When ACT was established in 2003, there was no iPhone, no Uber, or the large language models that make ChatGPT possible. Well, I wonder how many of you know what that stands for, GPT. Well, it's Generative Pre-trained Transformed, by the way. As you probably noticed today, NATO loves acronyms. We love acronyms. But they can be useful. And this brings me back to transformation and to ACT. An acronym that offers a good shorthand for what we do. A for anticipation, C for concept to capabilities, and T for talents. And in many ways, that last bit, talents, is the most important and the most challenging. You are all digital natives. Your younger siblings will indeed be the first generation that will have prompt engineers as an actual career choice. ACT, NATO, and your countries are going to need your smarts, your ability to understand the potential of these and other as yet undiscovered technologies. More than that, they will need your ability to challenge without fear to ask questions. Because that nothing is impossible attitude is going to make all the difference. That ability to be critical without being negative. I'm not here as one of these posters of old men with mustaches telling you they need you. Because there are many ways you can work towards making life better for your friends, your families, your communities, and your countries. But I do hope that some of you will come away from this day feeling that our great alliance is one way to do so. For some of you, like it was for me, that will mean wearing a uniform and flying fast and high. But for the others, it may mean working on data, for instance, like some of the fantastic young men and women I have on my staff. And yet others may find that being the best NATO prompt engineer is just that ticket. Thank you very much for your attention. And as a long-lived fan of rugby and the importance of teamwork, it remains for me to thank all those that make today possible in America and in Europe. Win as a team.